So, I always come in with something on my mind. I always come in with something that I want to share with you, and I experienced something really incredible this week. It was in relation to the tragedy in Parkland, but it was not of the darkness, it was of the light that comes from tragedy like this and trauma. And I met a gentleman from Santa Monica, California, who runs an organization called Love Buttons. And his entire mission is just to spread love globally. And I went right up to him at the end of the event, and I gave him a really big hug, and I said, "You speak my language, and I am on the same mission as you. My whole entire company is built on the heart chakra, and I am all about spreading love because I think it's the answer to everything." And so I have a bag full of his love buttons here, and at the end of the practice I'd like to share them. I don't have enough for everybody, but every time you put one on, I'm going to put one on right now. Every time you put one on and then someone asks you about it, the conversation in and of itself is spreading love. The button says love, the V is a beautiful set of wings. And I would love to share as many of them as I can. I have another 150 of them coming to me next week. And I'm just going to continue to put it out there. And I think that when we leave this practice, whether we know it or not, what's emanating from all of us is just that. It's just the essence of love, And so at the end, I have some other things I want to talk to you about. But for right now, I want you to put your attention on, close your eyes right now. And put your attention on that feeling of something or someone that you love so much. Just allow yourself the privilege in this moment to just feel love. How much you love that person or how loved you feel by that person. Maybe it's just your dog. I think you can't ever match the kind of love you get from your pet, right? Almost sometimes better than the people in the house, right? So whatever it is that you reference when we think about love, I want you to be filled with that right now. And I want every breath you take in this practice to sort of help you bring more in, fill yourself with it, and then as you exhale, just imagine that you're spreading that back out into the world. We're going to start to breathe and move. Let's bring our feet together at the top of the mat if they're not already. And then bring your hands to your heart. Find your breath. I want the breath to be deep, long and slow and deep, and not in any way that agitates your systems, but a way that fulfills you, makes you feel like you want to savor the life force that's moving through you. So lift your chest a little higher. Yeah, maybe lift your gaze just up above the person in front of you. And then on your next inhalation, I want you to reach up high to the sky. Exhale, fold in low. Fold like you mean it. Try to touch the ankles or the back of your calves. You don't have to touch the floor. Grab something that you can hold on to. And then when you inhale, I want you to lift halfway. Stretch your spine. Really feel the chest move forward. And then fold again on your exhale. Inhale, we're going to rise up to standing. Lift the head and the chest. Strong legs rooting down, arms reaching high. Exhale, hands come right back to your heart. That's so good. Inhale again, arms reach. Exhale and fold. Every time we fold, it should feel a little better. Nothing is forced. Everything is loving. Halfway up, inhale. Step your right leg back. Just stay on your toes. We're going to stay right there. And then root down through that right hand and twist gently open to the left side. That is like your good morning stretch. Say to your body, I love you with this movement. Not, I hate you and you're going to do what I say. How about be in relationship with the movement, be in relationship with the sensation, and be loving, tender, sensitive. Let's root down a little more with the right hand so that rooting down gives you the ability to access the twist and go a little deeper. There you go. Then place your eyes down, your hand down. Lean a little weight forward to the hands, and then lift your right leg gently in the air and step it forward to meet your left. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale and fold. Bend your knees, please. Chair pose. If you're in the sun, I'm sure you're starting to warm up, but for those of you that are not in a sunny spot, we're gonna have to create a little bit of heat. That's really good. Keep feeling your footprints. Press those toes down. I see lots of toes lifting and flaring. I want you to push down so strongly that it propels you upward. Go ahead, straighten your legs, stretch back, reach high, and then exhale your hands right to your heart. So good. Again, inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold over. Let's lift halfway, stretch the heart forward, and then take your left leg and step it back. And I want you to stay on those left toes, root the left hand down, and twist yourself gently open to the right side. Let it happen one breath at a time. Try to keep the big toe on the front foot grounded so that you're not splaying open. There's this little bit of a sense that you're pulling into the midline here. And if you root down a little more with your left hand, you will probably be able to twist in just a touch deeper. Now our eyes go down, the hand goes down. Let's put a little weight forward so that we're shifting into the right leg, lifting the left, and then bringing them together. Good. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale and fold. Let's bend our knees. Chair pose. Really good. Nice, strong, flat footprints. And then push down to rise up. Stretch a little if it feels good. Bring your hands right to your heart. Again, inhale, arms reach, take it up. Exhale, and then fold in. Here's your first plank pose. Inhale, lengthen, step back, hold right there. I know that's not what you want to hear when I say plank pose, but right now this is an opportunity to create a little bit of heat. So I want you to keep your hands firmly planted, but just imagine you could squeeze them toward each other a little bit and allow that action to help you widen your collarbones. And then your toes are kind of strongly in the mat. I want you to imagine you could pull your toes towards your wrist. You feel the integration that's happening in your body? Let's see if we can maintain that. Inhale, and then bend your elbows and lower down slowly. Take it to the belly. Nice work. Inhale into cobra, and then exhale back into down dog. Take one breath only in down dog. Push back just a little bit. And then come forward into plank again and lower right back down onto your belly. I want to get clear about cobra pose. In cobra, your hips and your pubis bone will stay on the mat. So it's a little back bend. Your hands are on the mat. You're going to come up with the chest, pull the shoulders back, lift your head. But I want you to feel your back muscles contracting almost like when you do a crunch. If your feet are flying up in the air behind you, it means you're squeezing your butt too much. You want to press your feet down, lengthen your legs, and lift your heart. Yeah. It should feel like a strong pose. Now, if you want to, you can push down into your hands and your feet and push all the way into straight arms and let your legs come off the mat. That would be upward facing dog. So press into your feet, and lift your knees. That would be upward facing dog. So I can tell by your faces, most of you do not like that. You do not like that. So that means don't do that. That is your body telling you right there, don't do it. If you do like it, if it feels really good, then you really embrace it and you do it with love. Go ahead, lay it back down onto your belly. So now you have a choice to make. Right now, take the back bend of your choice. I believe that cobra is the most universal, but not everybody's spine is the same. So do what really suits you. Take a breath. And then exhale, release, and move yourself back into downward facing dog for real this time. We'll take 5 breaths in down dog. I want you to try to awaken whatever actions you can in your body right here. Press your hands, lift your hips, feel your legs pressing back. I want you to all come up high on your toes. Feel your toes bending and your heels way, way up. And in that position, it might be easier to straighten your legs. So in that position, I want you to really straighten your knees and feel the muscles hug the bones. And then keep them super straight and just play with pressing your heels back down into the space beneath them. It doesn't matter how far they go, and they never have to touch. Just take one more breath right there. And then look at your hands. As you exhale, walk your feet to the top of the mat. Come halfway up, inhale. Fold deeply on your exhale. And then bend your knees for chair pose. That's it. I'm coming to check you guys out. Most of you look pretty happy about chair pose. Most of you look pretty happy to see me. I'm happy to see you too. Hi. Straighten your arms. Reach up like you mean it. Yes. And then come to standing. Push down to rise up. Stretch back just a little. And then bring your hands right to your heart. All right. Inhale, chair pose again. One breath only. And then fold in. Just fold with grace. Lift and lengthen on your in-breath. Let's step back, plank pose. You don't have to hold. Bend your elbows and lower down slowly. Inhale into cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhale back into downward facing dog. All right, I'd like you to lift your right leg way up high to the sky. Let it just stretch up into the sky. Take a breath. And then with some grace, actually no, let's stay there for a second. Come up high on your left toes. Come up high on the left toes. And then maintain your down dog, but squeeze your knee to your belly. Yep, squeeze your knee to your belly. So it's not plank pose. Your hips are still way up high in the air. Yes. Keep your hips high, stay high on the left toes. Now push into your left toes and step the right foot forward to your hands. There we go. Inhale, arms reach up high, high crescent lunge. Nice work, everyone. Now, I want you to fold halfway. So you're going to start to fold halfway. And as you reach forward and reach with your arms, reach with your chest, I also want you to push back with your back leg. Make sure that back leg is super sturdy and strong. Very good work. Hold your core strong. Eyes should be down at the front edge of your mat. Get your chest over your knee, halfway down. Come on down. Halfway down. Yep. Halfway down. I'm waiting. Come on down. One more breath. Now push down to rise up. Come on up. Reach high. And then exhale, go to down dog. Hands down, take a big step back. Skip everything in between. Just lift your hips. Breathe. Go back to that feeling. What was that feeling of love? Can you in some way make that feeling grow? In the moments when you get to pause and you get to really turn inward, that's where I want your attention to be. Take another breath here, and then lift that left leg way up high. Reach it up to the sky. Like spread your toes like you want to touch the sky and feel the space that you're creating in your body. Then come up high on the other toes. Now it's your right toes. Come up high on the right toes, and then start to draw that left knee to the belly. That action of drawing the thigh bone to the belly is what you need to step forward. So let's reach, squeeze, right? You're gonna push into your right toes and then step, a big step forward, and then come on up for high crescent. That's it. Nice work, everyone. Elbows should be straight. You're reaching your triceps, yes, like you wanna touch the sky. Now I want you to feel the arms pretty fierce. I want you to feel the belly strong, and then start to fold halfway. Like your chest should hover right over your knee, and I want you to feel all that body weight going forward, and now it has to be balanced by the work of the leg behind you. So push into your right heel, make the right leg super strong. I want you to notice in that moment when you create equanimity and balance in your actions. Let's get a little lower. Yeah, a little bit lower. Your body feels parallel to the floor. You feel like Superman, Superwoman, soaring. Now, ground your feet, pull the belly in, and rise back up. So good. Stretch up, inhale, and then go right to down dog. Hands go down, take a big step back. Breathe. Good. I'm starting to see some clothes come off, so it must be working. I love when the practice is working. All right, one more breath now. And now here, like a surprise, we're gonna go backwards. We're gonna walk our hands to our feet. Instead of coming forward, feet should be hip distance apart. And I want you to bend your knees 90 degrees. So one more time, it's like you are hovering parallel to the floor. Let's reach the arms forward. Open your feet up so they're about as wide as your hips. And then chest lowers down over the knees. Get low. Look at your mat. Feel your heart reaching forward as your hips reach back. The balance comes from your feet. Try not to look at your own feet. Look to the center of your mat. So lift your head. I think it'll be better for your back. Yeah. Now, I want you to stay there. Maybe even drop your hips 1 inch. 1 inch. Go in. And then sweep your arms back behind you and clasp them together. Give me one more breath. Look up. Bring your chest out. And then exhale, fold in deeply. Yeah, juicing up the legs a little bit. So the footprints still feel solid. The heart space should feel pretty open here. And I want you to just let your shoulders stretch. Just let the shoulders stretch. They are doing a lot of work for you. Let's take one more breath right here. And then go ahead and release your hands. On your inhale, look up and lengthen. And then walk your hands forward. Walk into plank pose. Take a breath in plank. And then bend your elbows and exhale, lower yourself right down onto the belly. Inhale into cobra. I found a dead spot that my mic doesn't work. Exhale back into downward facing dog. I always have this desire to spread out and go out to everybody, but I sometimes get challenged by technology. Let's take one more breath. Push back a little bit. And then exhale, look forward. Let's bring our feet right up to the top of the mat. Come halfway up, inhale. Fold deeply, exhale. With a flat back, let's rise up. So lift your head, your chest, reach your arms, stretch, and then bring your hands right to your heart. Nice work. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale and fold. Inhale, lengthen. Step, step back and lower. Lower to the belly, take it slow. Inhale into cobra pose. Exhale back to down dog. So everything looks like it's in a really beautiful flow. All right. Take one more breath. Right foot steps up, left foot turns flat. So we're coming to what we call Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. Make sure your stance is nice and long. Like put lots of space between your legs. Lengthen, yeah. When you give yourself space, you actually feel more freedom. If you give yourself too much space, you feel like you've lost your stability. So there's this really beautiful play between how wide and how long your stance can be, and you can adjust it. Like just because you stepped into one spot doesn't mean that you're stuck there. You actually have the ability to create with every breath that you take. Now let's give a little attention to the back leg as always. Make it pretty strong that you're standing on it. And then reach a little higher to the sky. So there's a down and an up happening. Now with all of the grace that you can muster, I want you to just slowly start to bend the front knee. See where you can go without losing the back foot. Give me one more breath. Look up. And then begin to sweep your arms down and behind you. Clasp them together and fold halfway. Let your right shoulder hover over your right knee. And I am well aware that you have been in this pose for a long time. And so what I want you to do is just let your head drop humbly and then lift the arch of the back foot. Take a look at the back foot. See if you can really get strong on the lateral border. And it's that back foot that's going to ground you as you come up. So push into your left heel, lift your head and chest, and start to reach back up. That's it. Come on up. Stretch high to the sky. And then exhale. Go ahead and flow it out. Hands down. Step back and lower. Nothing like a little humble moment. Inhale, cobra pose. Watch your back. Be nice. Lovingly move yourself back to downward facing dog. As you push down into the earth, you can feel your body's ability to rise and to become more spacious. You allow yourself that privilege of ease. instead of force. Now let's come into our warrior on the other side. The left foot's going to step and the right foot turns in. And again, once you get there, like, you can make adjustments. You can make the stance a little longer, a little wider. If it feels too long, pull it back in. And then even though our arms are up and we're reaching for the sky, I want you thinking about your feet. I want you to look up but still be able to, like, holistically be connected to what's happening in your whole body. Right? That's what yoga is. It's about union. It's about bringing all of these actions together and not having them be separate. So it's not like push this, pull that, and they're two different things. They happen at the same time. They happen in sync with each other. So we press into the back foot and we reach high and they come into one action. We continue that beautiful action as we start bending the front knee. Yeah. And the whole body becomes one in this moment. Your breath, your mind, everything. Let's bring the arms down. Just sweep them back and down, clasp them together, and then fold halfway. There we go. Something really beautiful and strong about the humble warrior. Let your head bow humbly forward, and so you can see the back foot. I want you to work the pinky toe side of that back foot and get it really solid. See if the arch of the foot can lift just a little bit. It's going to be that anchor that pushes down to help propel you upward. So push down to rise up. Let your arms start to rise as you come up. Inhale, warrior, and then exhale, flow. Hands down, step back, and lower. Be in the breath. Let the breath be in the movement. That's it. And then take yourself back to down dog. Breath is still flowing free. And if at any moment in any pose you start to feel unloving feelings, just check it and figure out why. We're about to take on a little bit of a different direction in the practice. Right foot's going to step up. Let's stay on the left toes. So you start with high crescent lunge. And then we're just going to take a transition now. Turn open to the left side and come into warrior two. Warrior two has become one of my favorites. It's one of those poses that really helps you understand that holistic approach of connection and union of the body parts and the actions. I want your left side of the body working and just as awake as the right side of the body. And now the only thing that I see as I look around is that some of us could use to open that front knee a little wider, just a little. That's it. Otherwise we look pretty damn good there. Now do me a favor and put your left hand on your left hip. And then start to hinge at your hips and lower your right hand to the inside of your right foot. You can put your fingertips down or your palm, depending on your proportions and your flexibility. But what I want you to try to do is open your chest up. You can even push your right shoulder into your right leg and make it open wider. Push this open with your arm and your shoulder. Yes. Your upper body is strong and you can lean it a little bit into that front leg and get a little more space. Open up. Let's keep left hand on hip. Keep left hand on hip. And work on just lengthening from the torso. I think sometimes we throw our arms behind us and we think we're open, but we're really not. And so what we want to do here is really lengthen the sternum, like really put your right arm against your right leg and push open. Yes. All right, now you're going to have to ground that left foot again. You're going to have to push down to rise up. Go ahead, reach with your left arm, pull yourself back to warrior two. How's that feel? You guys okay? All right, good. Straighten the front leg. Take your biceps to your ears. Straight up to the sky. Both legs straight. Say yay. All right. That had to have been a good moment, yeah? All right, so right there, arms are up, legs are straight. Let's open the arms straight out like wings and then take triangle pose. So again, we tip to the side. Lateral movement, only about halfway, right? Put your right hand on your shin. Put your left hand on your hip. And let's just see if we can make some little tweaks here. Maybe just a tiny bit. You could press down through your feet and straighten your legs a little more. Then maybe the right sit bone can just draw under you the littlest bit, which should allow you maybe to bring the head, neck, and shoulders back. Come back into my hand. Keep coming. Keep coming. I'm here. I won't let you fall. There it is. And then this can just be comfortable because everything else came back. Yeah. All right, so we're in there pretty deep. We're in there pretty long. Can you anchor your feet down, pull the belly to the spine? Let's stretch the left arm up and rise back up for warrior two. Bend the front knee. Yeah, our hips starting to get a little juicier? Yeah, good. Let's take our hands to the floor, pivot up on the left toes, take a vinyasa. Step back and lower. Inhale, cobra, sweet little back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, so we're gonna do some hip opening on the other side. It started with left foot, crescent lunge. Left foot steps up, rise up. On the inhale, come on up, arms to the sky. And then on the exhale, simply turn to the right for warrior two. I'm gonna give you a few minutes to kind of play with your stance. I think a little bit wider is better in this pose, but not so wide that you can't get your feet flat. So play with it. If you're feeling jammed up in the pose, like if you're so close together that you can't get any space, just imagine like how much nicer that might feel, right? It's good, a little space is good, yeah. Now, some of you are leaning forward to the left. Can you feel that? Maybe put a little more action into the right arm, pulling back. And again, just the same encouragement that I gave you last time, maybe the front knee can just widen. Maybe it can turn open a little bit. If not, leave it where it is, but at least you know you're trying to move in the direction of opening the hip. Now, right hand is going to go on the hip, right hand on the hip, and then left hand to the floor, inside of your foot. I'm putting it there on purpose so that you can press your arm against the inner leg and that you could try to draw your head, neck, shoulders back, lengthen your chest. So we all have a tendency, and I know it's my tendency. The last time I was in the presence of my teacher, the first thing he pointed out, why are you dropping your head forward? That's it, take it back, head back, I'm back here, you won't fall, there. Somehow I have an unconscious fear of the space behind us. But what if right now you just chose to move into that space behind you? And you realize there was nothing to fear at all. All right. I bet things are cooking now. Let's release that right arm up and then push down to rise up. Belly to the spine. Come on up strong. Biceps to the ears. Straighten your front leg. I want to hear a celebration. Yeah, like, oh, wow. That feels so much better. Ah. Big inhale, big inhale, open mouth, ah. Find that love and feeling. And then open up your arms and come into triangle pose. Legs stay straight. Let's put the right hand on the hip and just focus on the torso working. It's that feeling of inhale, lengthen, lift. It's that feeling that we're doing all the time in this practice. You can just leave your hand on your shin and just work on straight. Give it support. Yeah. You might even be able to just gently push into your feet and straighten your legs a little more. The stronger the foundation, the more freedom you have to express. And then I want you to try to really gently, maybe just a tiny bit, bring that left hip under you and open up your chest a little more. That's it. Let's take one more breath. I think you've been in there quite long. Press into your feet, reach your right arm up, and return to warrior two. Front knee bends. So good. One inhale, and then flow it out. Your hands go down, you pivot up onto your back toes. Let's step back together and then lower down slowly. Inhale, cobra, heart space opens. And then lovingly, find your way to downward facing dog. It's in this quiet moment where we pause that you have the ability to go right back to that loving feeling. Could you imagine how much energy this practice creates in each one of us individually. And if that energy was supported by love or immersed in love, how much that could emanate out into the world just by coming together on a Saturday and doing yoga. Let's push back just a little bit and then start walking to the back of the mat again. Walk your hands back. Your feet should be wide. I want you to turn your toes out and give me a really nice deep squat at the back of the mat. Good. Now it's important in the deep squat that we don't sit so heavy in the hips. If you're really flexible here, you can just be like dunk down, right? So I want you to make sure that your feet are pressing and your pelvic floor is lifting, so you're actually holding yourself up. Let's try to keep our hands in prayer and lift the chest a little higher. Now with that strong lifting feeling under you, can you now take your arms up? Yeah, we don't usually go there. Open your arms a little wider. Yeah, that feels like something. Yeah, it feels like an expression of something, and I want that expression to come from your heart. I want it to be of love. Maybe even just try putting a smile on your face. Yeah, one more time. Breathe in, reach, spread your fingers, and then exhale, hands come back to heart. Then let them return to the floor, and then bottoms up to the sky. Straighten your legs. Oh. So good, you guys. Inhale, look up. Let's walk our hands forward, plank pose. And then go ahead, lower yourself down slowly. We're taking a vinyasa. Inhale, cobra, strengthen your back. Exhale, move to down dog and neutralize. All right, right foot steps up, stay on your left toes. High crescent for 1, inhale. Then turn yourself open to the left, warrior 2. Good. Bring both arms straight up to the sky. Straighten your legs. And then turn, turn your right toes in. Good. Hands on your hips. Inhale, extend your spine back. And then exhale, fold over. Nice work. I want you to walk both hands over to your right ankle. Go ahead, walk to the right, and then start bending your right knee. I want you to keep bending it until you're almost in a deep squat on that right leg. And then look at your left toes and just turn your left toes up to the sky. Working on that external rotation of the left leg. You can keep your hands on the floor for sure, but you should be able to look up and your left toes should be pointing up to the sky. Left toes, turn your whole foot, turn your ankle, turn your leg, lift, flex them. You're on your heel only. Yeah, so much easier. And your hands can be on the floor or your hands could be in prayer. Heck, some of you know how to do a bind around that right leg. If that's available to you and you know what I'm talking about, do it. I'm not going to direct it because I don't really feel like it's that important, but I think if you know it, it's kind of fun to go there. Take one more breath. Release your hands. Put them down on the mat. Start to lift your hips up and go over to the other side. Bend your left knee, come down low. Turn your gaze to your right foot so that you can turn your toes up to the sky. Pivot on the heel and flex your foot. Be nice. For some of us, this feels really loving. For some of us, not so much. Are you breathing? Is the breath infusing love and spreading it back out into the world? You know, when we get in uncomfortable situations, we very often change from a loving person into a not so nice one. What's happening to you right now in this moment? It's a test. Let's go ahead, release our hands, come back to center. Slowly, be sensitive. All right, now, I want you to put your hands on your hips and come up halfway. With a really nice flat back and a feeling of solid feet and solid legs, you're going to rise up to standing. Stay right there. And then turn both of your feet out. So your knees are out, your toes are out, your hands are going to be on your thighs. And then just bend your knees as deep as you can and use your hands to roll those thigh muscles. Roll them back. Sit right there. Now, remember when we were in the deep squat and I said push into your feet and lift your pelvic floor? Yeah, that's why we were doing that in the squat, so that we could awaken the action and it would be easier for you to find right here. How many of you are already challenged? Yeah? Good. It's good. Life gets uncomfortable. Now, if you really think that this pose is in some way doing permanent damage to your body, please get out and soften. But if you're just being challenged, right? Like if it's just uncomfortable, can you just sit in that for a minute? Tell me the past 2 weeks in this community, we haven't been sitting in the most discomfort, most uncomfortable, full of emotions weeks, right? Can we do it from a place of strength? Can we do it from a place that's grounded, from a place that's like foundation is love? Now, I want you to keep your hands on your thighs, and I want you to start to fold a little forward. Drop your left shoulder forward, and then roll your right shoulder back and give me a little twist. Uh-huh. That's it. Take one breath there. And then face down, and then twist to the other side. Roll the left shoulder back. Roll the right one down and into center. Hands are on the thighs. You're still lifting that pelvic floor. Take your gaze down, and then with some strength, come on up slowly. Oh. Straighten your legs. Inhale, arms reach, and then exhale, fold in. Fold gently. That's it. We're going to walk our hands to the front of the mat and pivot our toes with us. So turn forward to something familiar, something happy. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, plank pose. Like plank would ever be a celebration, right? Breathe in, and then bend your elbows and lower down slowly. Inhale for cobra, and then exhale, down dog. Yeah. There's nothing like coming out of the darkness and into the light. We just always have to believe that that's possible. Let's push back, take a breath. And then look at your hands, and you're going to come to seated. We're going to sit. You knew, you read my mind. And I want you to come into cross-leg position. And notice if maybe sitting cross-legged feels a little easier than normal. Yeah. We're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to do, I mean, it has a million names, but like a double pigeon or a square pose. Some people call it 90-90. So what we're going to do is we're going to put one shin on top of the other. Let's all put the right one on top. So the right shin on top of the left. So it's kind of like your right heel is on top of your left knee. If that doesn't work, then kind of move it a little bit toward the calf. Uh-huh. And what normally happens when we put that right one on top, the left one kind of sneaks in underneath. And so I want you to encourage the left heel a little bit further out. Yeah. Take a deep breath in. Let's go ahead and reach our arms up. Now, I want you to try two things. I want you to try taking your hands back behind you and just leaning back away from the pose a tiny bit. See if that gives you some relief. Keep your spine tall. So that's one option right there. Your second option would be to fold forward. Fold over your legs and bring your torso right over your shins. And you can try that one too. And then you can say, oh, I like this so much better. Or you could go, oh, I think I liked it better where I was. So I'm an intelligent person, right? I'm going to go back where it felt so good. Because my practice today is trying to create love. It's way more challenging to create a feeling of loving humanity, loving ourselves, loving the earth when we're challenged. So do you want to challenge yourself? Or do you need a little bit of ease? And I love how we all get to choose. That is the one thing we always have. choice, free will. We're going to take 3 more breaths, and you can do anything for 3 breaths. Now, whatever position you chose, if you're folding forward, you're going to come up. If you're leaning back, you're going to come forward. And I just want you to extend both legs straight out in front of you. Yep. Oh, yeah. And just feel that release. When you feel something like that, it's because there was tension built up in your body, and we made it even more building, like even more intense from the shape of the pose. And then when we release the pose, all of that tension gets to go out. And I promise you, we do not want to be holding it. We do not want it to continue to compound every day. There are so many emotions in our hips. There's a reason why we're trying to open the hips today and release. Let's come into the other side and just do it with an attitude of knowing that there's purpose to this. And if you're meeting resistance, it's because there's tension in there. The pose isn't creating it. It's just helping you bear witness to it. So now it's left on top. Try to go shin over shin, knee over heel, heel over knee. That's not always possible. No, pull the top one back. Put the edge of your foot in the crease of your knee. Yeah. That's better, right? It was too far. That's good. So now, inhale, reach up. And then either choose to fold forward or lean back. And you might want to try both because the experience in the body from one side to the other can be very different. Your ankles, your knees, and your hips, your lower spine, the SI joint, the piriformis, there's so many parts of the body right now that are being touched. And they're not always the same from one side to the other. So you got to be smart. You got to pay attention. And you've got to choose wisely. This is an intense posture, and we have such a big, broad range of levels of practice in this park. We have seasoned teachers, people practicing with me over 20 years, and then we have people that this is the second time they ever did yoga. I bet we have a few that this is the first time they ever did yoga. And so the body needs time to adapt. The body needs time to get familiar with these movements and train and practice. So don't force anything upon yourself. That would not be loving. Nobody likes it when we have anything forced on us. And it certainly doesn't feel good to try to force anything on someone else. But somehow doing it to ourselves seems okay. But it's not. Let's take one more breath now, just one. And then come back to a neutral place and release your legs. Should be really good. Say it. Ah. Yeah, let them out. Feel the knees release. They like to come out slowly. And I want you to open your feet at least as wide as your mat. If you don't have fear of going on concrete, you could even go wider. Or in the grass. That's it. And then take a deep breath in. Reach up. And exhale, fold gently over. Let it be more of a slouch than a fold. Just like really, just surrender for a moment. Bow your head humbly forward. Soften your belly. I want everyone right now to this moment, I want you to look at your belly. I know you don't want to. In this position, nobody's belly is flattering, right? It's one of those things, like I want you to actually see the skin roll over the top of your pants, and I want you to love it. Because the truth is, if you were standing upright, your belly would be flat. But when we fold forward, we have a bunch of organs in there, right? We have skin, like we're compressing the area. It's supposed to look like this. But can we love ourselves anyway? Like when it doesn't meet our expectations. Like, can we just be in our humanity? Can we love now? It's a great test. Let's take one more breath right here. Melt in a little as you exhale, just like a big old sigh of relief. And then pull the belly to the spine and just roll up so it looks flat again. Let's bend our knees and put the soles of our feet right there onto the mat. I want you to reach forward and round your back a little. It should be stretched because of that last pose. And so with that round back, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone. Let's roll down slowly. Feels like it's about that time. I'm going to do a time check. That's good. Close your eyes with your knees bent. It's an easy pose. We call it conscious resting pose. Body at ease, feet on the ground. Let your mind be quiet. Go back to the beginning of the practice where you had that loving thought. Whoever it was, whatever it was, allow it to bring a smile onto your face. I want you to feel it in every single cell of your body. Because if we could use our yoga to cultivate just a little more love for ourselves, in ourselves, that is what we're going to bring out to the world. If we catch ourselves in those moments of frustration and challenge, and we're able to flip them and turn them around, then we're doing our work. Each and every one of us are doing our part. I think we have a challenging time ahead of us. And I think that we need to face it from a foundation of love. And I don't mean running around like rainbows and butterflies all day. I mean just like having some understanding that we're all in this together. We're all challenged. Let's go ahead and pull the right knee to the belly. Give it a little squeeze. And then put the right foot back on the mat. Bring the left one in for a little squeeze. You know, when you squeeze your leg in, you can also press your back into the floor. Just give yourself a little extra love. And then I want you to pull both knees in. Just pull them both in. Give yourself a little squeeze. And then rock a little bit side to side. And then we're going to do a Lydia special. We're going to lean to the right and go halfway, and we'll do a kidney squish. So I don't want you to go all the way. I want you to go kind of halfway. Just halfway. Lean into the right side. And just feel what's happening right above your hip bone. Yeah, the QL, there's all kinds of stuff right there. And then maybe squeeze your knees in a little tighter. Feel that. And then keep your hands on your knees, but start pressing your knees out away from you. And notice how that feels. So push your knees out. Push your knees out. Yeah, see how that feels. Does that change things? Yeah, so you got to find just the right place. Maybe your arms are straight here. Maybe the knees are pushing out and the arms straighten. Reach for your knees. Like hold your knees, but just then push them out away from you. Hold them. Hold them. Hold them right here. And instead of squeezing them to you, you're just pushing them out. Yeah, do you feel your back changes? Yeah. It's so interesting to play with the angles. Let's take one more breath right there. And then let your knees go all the way to the right. Just go all the way. Open your arms wide. Look out to the left. And again, opportunity for whatever tension you may have been holding in there, whatever we may have stimulated to sort of effervesce and bubble to the surface, you gotta let it go. So let go of your effort, soften your skin, allow the energy to flow. There's nothing there that you want to hold on to. If it's good, let it go out into the world. If it was not serving you, certainly let it go out into the world. Now, in your own way and in your own time, I want you to bring your head to center and your knees to center. We can give ourselves a little bit of a squeeze. And then you're going to rock halfway to the left. Just figure out what that feels like. Squeeze the knees in or push them out and away, but hold them either way. As you rock slightly in any direction, the sensations will change. I'm going to calm this down. That's it. And then go ahead, take it all the way to the left. Soften. We know that we were capable of working really hard. We were challenged and we faced it with courage and strength. Could we be as diligent about the softness, about the letting go? Now slowly bring your head to center. Bring your knees to center. Give yourself one more squeeze and then just gently float your legs in the air. You can wedge your fingers under your tailbone. Just let the legs float there for a moment. This is just a really nourishing moment for your hips. Let the femur head sink into the hip socket. So let your legs get heavy in the hips. Don't try to reach high. Don't try to do anything. You could even soften your knees and feel like the legs drop in just a little bit. You can separate your feet apart. It helps them drop in. Bend them a little. Yeah. And we're going to take 3 breaths. Be as soft as you can be. Now, if you're already starting to feel like you're relaxing, I want you to stay in that relaxing mode. If you feel like you want more core work and you still feel like you want some energy, like some effort, then you can straighten your legs and lower them to the floor. If you're feeling soft, let the knees drop to the belly, and then just put your feet down on the mat and release them down. We're heading into the softness, so it makes sense to me. Either one last burst of energy or completely embrace the grace. And so either way, we bring our legs down and we settle right into our final resting pose. Shavasana. go ahead and take a really nice deep breath. Feel the breath move through you, as if that breath could infuse every single one of your cells with just a little bit of love. And then intentionally send that right back out into the world. It's just the way we process things. We take them in, and then we send them back out. It happens with thoughts and ideas, feelings, food, energy, knowledge. So we take it all in, and then we send it back out. Imagine if we could just apply, just sprinkle a little bit of consciousness to that every day. Let's start to move gently and eventually find your way to seated. Take your time with it. Let's sit up tall and close our eyes. We're going to bring our hands together at the heart. And we're going to close the practice with that beautiful universal sound of Om. And I'm going to ask you to raise your voices today. I really want to hear you. Because what ends up happening is on those recordings that we send out to everybody at home, my voice is like right there in the mic, and there's like no sound coming from the hundreds of people that are around me. And so I want you to sing so loud that my mic picks you up. How's that sound? You think you could do that for me? Yeah. So fill your lungs. Fill it like you mean it. Fill up. Big, big inhale. Take in all that love, and then sing it out. Thank you so much for all the love that you shine on me every Saturday here. I hope that you take mine with you and you bring it out into the world. Namaste. So I have 2 announcements to make. The first one, really important. Next Saturday, the 10th, that's March 10th, you know that I've been thinking about different ways that I could be of service, different ways that I could help our community through the trauma and the times that we've been experiencing. And one of the methods that I always feel are really important is that we do grassroots things right here at home. We do preventative things. We do things that really serve where there are already cracks in the system. I know there's a lot of work to do going forward, but I also feel like it's really important that we get into the grassroots of our communities. So I'm part of an event that's going to be on March 10th at the Wyndham Hotel. We're going to use the ballroom. And my collaboration with the Connection Coalition, you guys are probably familiar with it because we just did a big thing to create yoga and mindfulness practices for at-risk youth in the community, right? So these are the exact kids like the shooter, right? They're falling through the cracks. These are the kids in foster cares, jails, shelters. We're bringing mindfulness practices to them, and we just did a fundraiser and we just sponsored one right here in Boca at Place of Hope. But now, this event on the 10th, this is a really important one. This is a free event, and I know a lot of you are teachers. How many of you work in the schools in our communities? How many of us here are teachers and work in the schools? Yeah. So this is a free event for all the teachers to receive the trauma training. So that if you want to be able to help the kids every day in school, the troubled kids, maybe we'd have the right words, the right tools, the right ways of being there and holding space for them. And maybe even for the kids right now that are trying to process all of the trauma that they have been through, all the fear about going back to school, even if it wasn't their school. So we're creating this program to do the trauma training for the teachers, right? So I want all the teachers, if you are not a teacher but your sister is or your neighbor is, tell them about the program. I will put it on the details on my Facebook page. It's from 9 to 5. It's a full day program. It's to help us hold the space for the kids. It's for the teachers that are in it every single day. So if any of you want to participate, please come out and do it. It's totally free to you. We're organizing the teaching, the whole facilitation, the space, everything is all just for you to serve the community. So you could be out there doing your jobs with better tools and feeling capable of facing what we're facing. So spread the word for me. If you're not interested in doing it or it doesn't fit for you, share the information with someone else. It's really, really important. So thank you. My other was come get buttons. Come and get love. You know, I always have my flyers and magnets and passes and all of that. Yeah, so a little love for you, for you, for you. You're welcome. Share it.
I want to talk to you in the future too.
Okay.
March 24th, we're going to do a national day in conjunction with the Washington March
Okay.
for the youth.
I'm working on something for that day too.
Every simulcast, I'm working on it with the city of Boca.
These are Strut This from Lori Schuster. Yes, my red pants. You guys love my red pants? I love my red pants. You have to be in the right mood to wear red pants. Oops. I want to talk about that when I can actually pay attention in. I hear you. I totally hear you, but will you email me or call me so I can get the details? Because I want to give that my full attention. Thank you. Okay. Yep. Yes. Of course. Yep. I love you, and I love every single one of you. As I give you these buttons, I'm giving you my love. When people ask you what it's about, say it's a global movement to spread love globally, all over the planet. Yep. I'm doing the best I can. Here we go. Go. It feels so good. Sharing the love. Yes, you can. Give one to your mom. I will not be at that training. I will actually, there will be a sub next week, but because I'll be skiing. Yeah. There will be, as always, yoga. The only way we don't have yoga is if the city says you can't have the park.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, spread some love. Making sure I get one in every hand that wants one. I do. It's right there. Thank you so much. Thank you. There's two. They're magnets. So you won't damage your clothes. There are magnets. Thank you. Here you go. Hi. I'm just looking at your hand. I wasn't even looking at your face. Hi. Thank you. Here you go. Hi, Wendy. Over the years, we've met. Yes, please do. Yes, the details will be on my Facebook page. I will update today. Mm-hmm. Yes, they're right there by that purple basket. There should be magnets, passes, everything you need. Thank you. Spread the love.
You know, with all going on, there was a guy sitting on a bench, and he was harmless, you know, but I kept looking, and it made me so uncomfortable. It was so weird.
That's what's happening to our consciousness.
He was just sitting there with his dog.
He wanted yoga too.
But he wasn't doing yoga.
No, but sometimes that's how you do it. Sometimes that's just it, you know. Sometimes you just want to sit and listen.
I couldn't even relax.
You never know. In a few weeks, he may. Oh, is the back? Yeah, I felt it come off. In a few weeks, he may come back with a mat.
True. And then I would feel better.
Yeah. Yeah.